today we got to play Taluva.
Deluxe.
So this is a tile placement.
It's an abstract.
Get rid of all your characters.
Get rid of your buildings. Yes,
Get rid of your buildings.
It's an abstract puzzle game, sort of.
Yeah. So going into quality of pieces, you have very, very thick.
Yeah, these are sturdy tiles.
Thick cardboard tiles, along with wooden houses, huts, buildings.
And we wanted to point out that we're playing in IU colors, the appropriate colors for playing any game.
I don't think that was what it was.
Yeah, as opposed to the UK colors you tried to suggest earlier on in the top.
Overall quality pieces, I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's just tiles, wooden pieces, and a board.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to see what was in the non-deluxe version of this, because to me this isn't like what I would call deluxe.
I mean, maybe it was thinner.
Well, these are big. I'll give you that. I don't know if they're smaller.
I like the size. I couldn't imagine not having a non-deluxe.
There is some expansion stuff in the box that we didn't play with, but maybe that's what they consider the deluxe. The board is two-sided, and we played on the more advanced board where we were limited in space because of the sandbars.
I gave this a 7 for quality. What's your thoughts?
I don't know. I guess a 7. There's not a whole lot to it. I mean, it's a pretty basic.
It's not. I mean, my biggest thing is you got these really
the tiles
large,
are above average.
Thick. I mean, they're big tiles. This game's big, and I think that's why I'm saying that. So moving on to theme. The theme is, I think you're building an island with different volcanoes.
There's absolutely no backstory to this at all. It is completely an abstract. And, I mean, they're calling these towers, temples, and huts. But you really could be anything. You're putting 3 different shapes onto a board. But it's a interesting puzzle.
I will say it's pretty.
It does make a pretty island.
I mean, you're making an island, and that is pretty. So I guess for the artwork piece, I'll give this a 6. I'm not sure how the theme really plays into it, but it's there-ish.
I think it's more of I'll give it a 5.5. I don't think it's quite a 6 even, because there's just not any theme whatsoever to this game.
Mine is more for artwork.
Well, but even the art is, I mean, the volcanoes are exactly the same on every volcano. There's nothing, every shape is exactly the same. It's just a combination of the different terrains, and every terrain is the same. The only thing unique are the player boards, and they have different player boards for each one.
I liked mine.
But even those, it's just a player board picture. There's nothing to it. Because
why do we even need these?
It's just something to put your pieces on. That's literally all it is. So there's really no functional need for it. You didn't even use yours. So you got it. Yeah, I mean, that's the only purpose for it. So I just can't see this thematically at all anything about it. Really a 5, but I'll be generous and give it a 5.5 because this has a special meaning to us, which,
we'll talk at the end.
Yeah.
So moving on to rules. Rules are very straightforward.
Well, yes and no. They're in broken English. They're not bad, but there's definitely some mistranslation words in here.
Okay.
It's a centerfold, which I don't like, right there.
You don't like those.
It is pretty straightforward. The game is very simplistic, so it doesn't require a whole lot of instructions. And they did go through and basically every scenario they flat out do photos showing you can't do this, you can't do that. So it's very clear what the gameplay is on this. You won't make a mistake if you read the rules.
Yeah.
As long as you read them and understand the translation.
Well, it seems like look at pictures, maybe not read
the
rules.
pictures. I mean, but they're not horribly bad translations. I mean, I'm going to give this one probably a 7, just because it's hard to mess this game up, but it's not the best rule book in the world by any means.
Yeah. So moving on to gameplay, it is a little bit of a puzzle, and you're trying to get your pieces out onto the board as quickly as possible. So basically, you pick a tile, you lay it down, so there are multiple levels, and so
when you first start the game out, the board's completely empty. There's no pieces whatsoever, so you're not connecting to anything. So there's a center hex that's just an empty space where you place your first tile. So whoever the first player is automatically creating a settlement.
And it has to have the volcano on that.
All of the tiles have the volcano.
Well, I'm saying that the center has to be the volcano.
No, it doesn't. You just have to play the tile.
Okay. So anyway, so you place the tile. You get to build up multiple levels. When you can actually place a tile to destroy your buildings or other people's buildings.
But only huts.
And so you slowly build up the board.
So the reason you might want to destroy your own huts is because there's really no point in them on the board. You don't get any points for having them on the board. The goal is to get rid of the buildings from your player board. So if you get rid of 2 of the 3 types of your pieces, you win. Mm-hmm. So the issue is, in order to play any of these temples or the towers, they can only be played into separate civilizations. So therefore, you might want to have a bigger civilization that you carve in half in order to create two areas on the board where you can then create these temples and towers separately. The replacement of the temples requires you have to have at least 3 of the hexes on the board adjacent to each other, occupied by your buildings, and then you can play one of these. The towers have to be played on a level 3 or higher hex tiles, so you have to work them up, but they also have to be adjacent to your existing huts.
Yeah. So it's a puzzle game. Is there some the thing is you don't get bonus points for your tiles still being on the board at the end of the game, so it's really about just placing tiles and getting them played through. This game, it's a cute little game. Is it fantastic? No. Is the puzzle aspect all right? Yes. If you're really big in puzzle games, this is fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a 7. Okay, we've played this once before, and been. I feel like this is a trick. 4 years. And we this is our second time playing it, so it took us 4 years to get it back to the table. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away the special meaning for this game, the gameplay wise, there's not a lot to it. It's a quick game to get out. You shuffle up and deal out however many tiles you're playing for. You can actually play for 24 or 36 tiles depending on your preference with 2 player, and then they have rules for playing it for 3 or 4 player, and you have different distribution of count of tiles. But it's a quick game. We played it in 15 minutes basically after we set it up. So it's for that. It's a neat little abstract. There's not a lot to it. Yeah. Rob probably would have liked this one because he likes abstracts.
Yeah.
So, but I'm probably going to give it. I'll probably give it a 6.5. Just I'm being generous with this game again because it was special.
So
but I would have given it a 7 the first time we played it because of the background view.
So this game, we were at Origins, and so we took a honeymoon trip, and part of that we went to Origins first, and we went up. Anyway, we slowly get up. We stopped at a few other places, and we ended up at Niagara Falls. Mm-hmm. And we actually broke this out in the hotel room where we could see Niagara Falls in the backdrop. And we thought, well, it's water. So
it was we had to make do because the table we had was smaller than the board.
It was. I remember that.
But we can conjure an image for them. Ooh, so you can see Niagara Falls in the background and Miranda sitting there. It was a beautiful view, and it was hard to play the game because we were so distracted by the view. So But
it was me. It was my,
Yes,
he was looking at me.
It was definitely Miranda, and then there was some kind of water show going on in the background. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was definitely a beautiful view, and the game. It was just really awesome to be able to play a game. It didn't really matter what it was, but it coincidentally was this game that we had picked up because it said Deluxe on it, basically. Because I was like, ooh, it's a game I don't have, and it's Deluxe.
Really, that's his
that's basically all it takes. But I like abstracts too, so it was interesting.
Yeah, so that's the special story behind it. It's something that I think about, actually. And the thing is this game is memorable in the fact that I do remember that time. I think it's more about the situation that we were in, more than remembering this particular game. But I'll be like, yeah, that tile game. So overall, pretty good. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. I hope you had a blast. If you would like to join us again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We'd love to hang out. Bye.
Bye.